I took Joel Kaplan from 5,000 to 250,000 subscribers in the last year. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we did it and how we helped generate him over $6 million from YouTube.
All right, so for today so far, as you guys can see, I'm here on Stripe. Month to date, 620,000. This is just on one of the businesses. All time, 19.5 million. This is just on one of the businesses and only Stripe. Today we've done $14,500.
And if you're a high ticket coach, consultant, or info product business, this video will show you how to make 7 figures from your YouTube channel in the next year. Because I'm about to give you the entire system on how we grew Joel that you can literally just copy and paste onto your YouTube channel to blow up and make a ton of money. Let's dive in. So how do we take Joel Kaplan from 5,000 subs to over 260,000? This is us holding the silver play button. And basically, I'm going to break that down in this video. As you can see, he generated over $20 million through his coaching program, consistently doing around $15,000 to $20,000 days. And monthly, he was doing about 500 to 600 grand a month. So first off, let me kind of show you how this all started. So before we started working on Joel's channel, he was spending around $150,000 a month on ads to get around $500,000 a month back. So including a team of 26, his margins were pretty slim, right? He was maybe taking home 100, 150K a month. After we came in, what happened was we essentially took that ad spend down to $10,000 a month in retargeting ads. And that actually equaled around $600,000 a month in revenue. So basically his profit margins went from around 30% over 65% because he was essentially able to cut $140,000 of ad spend completely off. So he's literally profiting an extra $140,000, which is just ridiculous. And the only reason why we were able to increase revenue while decreasing his ad costs is because every single YouTube video that we posted was making us anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000. Imagine that, like literally every single YouTube video you post, we had a deal coming through, which was just ridiculous, right? And some videos would make over 100 grand, some would maybe close just one client, but pretty much every single video that we posted closed clients. And that's really where YouTube becomes very powerful. So how did we actually do that? And how do we blow up the YouTube? Because obviously those book calls came from getting more views and increasing the brand. As you can see, Joel's content before just wasn't that good. Like you look at the thumbnails, they're just kind of low quality. You got a bunch of stuff going on. It's just a bunch of random stuff. It's like how to hire A players like Gary Vee. No one really cares. I almost fired my top closer. Don't do this, right? And that's a very valuable video, but just no one was clicking on it because the title and the thumbnail weren't good, right? He wasn't actually talking to the people who would buy from him. He was just making content for himself. And that's exactly what we shifted. The first video that we ever worked on with Joel was this one right here. And as you can see, it has 193,000 views today. So we essentially signed on Joel, and the first video I told him to make was this one because for one, it's broad, it appeals to his actual target audience, and I knew for a fact it was going to crush, and it did. And as you can see, this is the biggest difference in what we changed, is we essentially took him from making content like this, where it's just low quality thumbnails, low quality titles, to extremely high quality thumbnails, titles. And to do that, we just hired better people. He didn't have to do anything extra. He was making the exact same video. This video and this video are pretty much the exact same thing, but the difference in views is 20x. And the reason why is because it's just packaged better. It's packaged in a way that actually infiltrates into your prospect's subconscious mind and gets them to click, right? So we have this element. It's over. What that does is essentially tell the prospect that what they think is wrong. And when they think that what they think is wrong, they are much more likely to click on the video because they want to understand why SMA is dying and what to do now. This is a very fear-based thumbnail. Adding more emotion into the packaging and just making it overall look way higher quality is one of the biggest levers that we did for Joel, right? And as you can see, we went from averaging 1,000 views a video to between 20 to 100,000 views per video on every single video. Now, step one in this is simply just getting better thumbnails. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 elements in this thumbnail. We essentially turn those 6 elements into 3. In this one, we have Joel, we have Stripe, and then we have this 3x ROI. Very, very simple. Same thing with this thumbnail. We have like one thing, we have Joel, we have 2, 3, and then a background. Just so much stuff going on, right? It just doesn't look clean. It doesn't look professional. Then what we do on this thumbnail is we actually just keep it very simple. It's just Joel, graph, and Stripe. Visualizing the dream outcome. So that's something that we went from, where instead of Joel being a king and having money in the background, what we did is we added the actual dream outcome into the thumbnail. So you can see 3x ROI, that's a dream outcome. Stripe dashboard, $12,000. Payment received, $1,997. That is the actual dream outcome that the prospects care about. And that's something that you need to be thinking about in your thumbnails. You need to be thinking about, how do I visualize the dream outcome of my prospect, and do that in a simple way that hooks attention and gets people onto onto my video. Because from there, once we get them onto the video, that's when we can do that change work inside of the video, start instilling beliefs in the viewer's mind, and get them into a qualified sales call. Same thing here, just doesn't make any sense. I hired my top closer, just doesn't make any sense to this. How to guarantee appointments for SMA clients, that's what people want. We started making content that people actually want. And again, very, very simple. 1, 2, 3. 3 elements. This is something called the 3-element rule on YouTube. And it is something that Mr. Beast, Iman Gaji, Alex Hormozi, pretty much any YouTuber uses to capture attention. And it works especially well if you're making niche business videos because of the fact that everyone in business doesn't know how to build a personal brand, right? Except for Iman, Hormozi, and all of these guys. The majority of business owners are not creative and they're much more analytical, they're much more sales driven, and they're there for the money. They're not there to necessarily build a huge personal brand, or they just don't have the knowledge to. So what we're actually seeing right now is there's this very unique opportunity for people who are actually serious about growing a personal brand to grow their personal brand, right? But you have to think about YouTube kind of like digital real estate. And you have to understand that there is only a certain amount of real estate available on the market. Right now, let's say about half of it has been bought up already. So about half of the real estate is already kind of taken, and there's only this much left. And over time, what will happen is people will start to buy up these properties. People will start to buy up this land until there is almost none left. And so right now is really one of the last chances that you have in 2025 to build your personal brand. Because as a business owner, that is what's going to separate those who succeed to those who fail. Because the business owners who have this real estate of attention, they will build trust with their prospects versus you running ads, going from a 60-second ad to a 10-minute VSL through a call funnel. It's just not going to work. You're just not going to build the trust that's actually needed. We're in a huge trust recession right now. And right now we're really in the last kind of 5-year period where someone can build a personal brand without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on content like Mr. Beast or Alex Hormozi. Because the demand for building a personal brand is increasing like crazy. And if you're not starting now, 10 years down the line, it's going to be 100x harder than it is today. So start today. And most people think that they can go about this on their own, but the reality is that it takes years to build the skill of YouTube. And to be honest, as a busy entrepreneur, you don't have years of trial and error to try to figure this out. So it makes a lot more sense to build a full content team with really experienced people, or simply work with a strategist like myself who will tell you exactly what videos to make and exactly how to make them in order to build your personal brand fast. Just like this. As you can see, this video had 119,000 views. And the reason why this worked is because we used packaging that follows the value equation. So what we did in this packaging, and what you should do too, is we essentially tried to raise the dream outcome. So the dream outcome is getting a 3x ROI, right? Because that reduces churn. It means clients are happy, and it basically just makes everything a lot easier. We also demonstrated the dream outcome in the packaging right here. Now that we have the dream outcome and we're showing people exactly what they want in the video, what we do is we actually increase the perceived likelihood of achievement. So as you can see, we have guarantee. This is perceived likelihood of achievement. I always try to hit on at least 2 out of the 4 parts of the value equation. So that is dream outcome, time delay, perceived likelihood of achievement, and effort and sacrifice. Always go for one of those. Now, step 2 has nothing to do with packaging, but this is one of the biggest things that helped us blow up Joel's channel. And what it is the actual total addressable market of the content. So this is your TAM, or your total addressable market. How many people the content could actually reach. From here, if you look at this video, I started an SMA from scratch to prove it's not luck. In the SMA market, which is what Joel was making content about, we tried to target the broadest amount of people within that market. So 15 million entrepreneurs, should you get a business partner? That maybe targets a small little portion of the SMA market. Targets like 1% of the market. That video is never going to get views, and clearly it didn't. It got 900 views compared to this one that got 62,000. I started an SMA from scratch to prove it's not luck. That targets a lot more beginner people, which is the audience that we were going for, and that targets a much bigger portion of the total addressable market. So with that said, just based on the actual concept itself, we instantly 62x'd our view potential, because 70% of the market is probably going to be more beginner based. Now, the next thing that you have to understand is your execution. So in here, even though we're targeting 1% of the market, which maybe let's say that's a few million, this video didn't even get 1,000 views. And the reason for that is because the execution on the video just wasn't that good. So the execution was only about that much. So we're getting maybe a 0.5% of the market. For example, on this video, we made sure that we had a scripted, edited intro that basically pre-framed people into what the rest of the video was, which was simply just a Zoom call. So the video still wasn't anything crazy, but we framed it in the right way in the intro in order to make people stick around. With our execution on this one, it was probably about here. So even though we're not reaching the entirety of the actual market that we could, what we're doing is we're capturing still a much bigger market size than this one down here. And that's one of the most powerful concepts on YouTube that so many people ignore. And once you understand that, it will allow you to like literally 100x your views if you're making super niche content. But it also depends on your actual market. For example, if you're making marketing content for painters, like one of our clients, you have a much smaller total addressable market. And then you try to make broad painting videos. So it's like how to run Facebook ads for painters. That probably targets like this portion of the market. So you're probably going to be getting 1,000 views, but they're a lot more qualified. They have really good money, and that can turn into a ton of deals, right? So it works on every single channel size because we want to go as broad as possible within our target prospect. That's the idea. And then step 3 is making sure that we actually funnel people down. We go from type 1 content to type 2 content to type 3. And it's very important that you have all 3 types of content. So type 1 content is essentially broad top of funnel. And this is content that tries to increase the total addressable market by the biggest amount possible. So we're trying to capture a huge portion of the total addressable market. And the idea behind that is because with a portion of our content, our goal is to get as many of our potential prospects as possible on our channel. And then what we do is we send them over to our type 2 content, which is a lot more niche. So this is niche content. And with this one, it's a much smaller portion of the total addressable market. So this type 2 content is only solving specific problems. For example, this is an SMMA service delivery guide. So we're only talking about how to run Facebook ads instead of how to start a 10K a month SMMA. This one's a lot more broad, and then the type 2 content is a lot more niche, solving very specific problems. But what we'll see is that this content converts a lot higher. So this content equals eyeballs, and this content equals sales. But it's very important that we turn these eyeballs into sales, right? You can't have one without the other. So that's just solving your prospect specific problems. And then we move on to type 3 content, which is even more niche. And with this kind of content, it is pure conversion content. So this one is basically taking anyone who didn't convert off of the type 2 content and convincing them that you are the solution to their problems. What you're going to do on this type 3 content is simply make case studies. And this is going to be the lowest amount of views. So it'll be the lowest amount of views, but the highest amount of revenue from these videos, right? So how we did this with Joel is we would interview people who had gone through Agency Lab, his program, and we would essentially just make a YouTube interview with them. How she makes 17K a month in high school. It's one of his students who's 17, makes 17K a month in high school running an agency. So we basically do these case studies and we try to frame them in a way that goes still a little bit broad. It really depends on your niche, whether you should go broad or not, but we essentially just walk through case studies. And that content, it prints. And that's where we made a ton of money from that channel. But how did we actually automate this? Well, you're a busy entrepreneur. You don't really have the time to actually go through, make all these videos, handle all the editing, even just manage communication with the editor. So let me walk you through exactly how we removed Joel from this process and how we made it very seamless so that all he had to do was show up and film. First things first, at the top of the ring, we have Joel. So Joel is at the top, and what Joel does is only communicate with one person, which is me, Linden Chasteen. I was the creative director / strategist. So we'll put strategist. And what this person does, a creative director essentially manages the entire content team and handles everything for them. And then strategist tells you exactly what videos to make. So I would tell Joel, hey, we need to make this video. Hey, I wrote this intro for you. Let's reframe the content like this to make it perform even better. Then the strategist / creative director will go through and they will essentially talk to the entire team. So we have editor, and this is the person that actually edits the content. From here, we'll also have a VA who helps post the content. And then what we'll have as well is a thumbnail designer. And that's the person that creates the high quality thumbnails. Then everything essentially gets reported back to the creative director where he will manage and quality control everything. He'll manage all the communication, review all of the edits. He'll make sure that the VA is posting it properly. He'll make sure everything is on schedule and just basically make sure everything is running smoothly. And all Joel has to do is film. Another role that you could add on here is scriptwriter. If you want to have someone write your scripts, for Joel, we didn't do that. We were just mainly using like Zoom calls and stuff like that with written intros, which I just wrote because why not? I'm good at it. That's basically how the entire team was structured. And we were doing around $600,000 a month with this team. In total, this cost around $10,000 a month, which is absolutely ridiculous compared to the $150,000 that he was spending before. Now, most people are actually scared to spend money on content. They're like, well, I'm not going to see an instant ROI. I don't even know if I'm going to make a return. I don't know if this is going to work. But the thing is like the risk of you not doing content is so much higher than the risk of you doing it. Like, okay, you're spending 10 grand a month on a content team. Oh no, you cut that from your ad spend budget. See how well it does. does. If you just do that for 6 months, your business will completely change. You'll be more profitable. You'll have better clients and just a better, more sustainable business because you're not going up and down the ads roller coaster anymore. Now, the final thing that we did for Joel, which is something that I don't see anyone else talking about, is that we broke the market. Now, let me explain because this is very, very important. There are two ways to be better on YouTube. You can either be new or you can be better. What we chose to do with Joel is we chose to be new. So what we did is we looked at what was working in other niches and we saw that there was this huge trend of giving everything away for free. You saw Alex Hormozi do that in the business space. We saw someone named Jordan Bound do that in the dropshipping space. Basically gave away a whole free course, 18 hours, got like 4 million views. Absolutely insane. He made a ton of money from that video. So we decided to do that in our niche too. We were like, why not? Let's go ahead and give away everything for free. So what we did is we gave away Joel's free course that he used to charge a bunch of money for. And we put that out into the market and it absolutely crushed. As you can see, this video has 153,000 views. This is like one of 3 videos that we use to promo it, and each one has over 100,000 views. We eventually posted one of the full courses just on YouTube alone, and that one also has over 100,000 views. It's a 12-hour video. So from here, what we would do is we just send into a funnel, go ahead and qualify them, book them into a sales call. But we would give away the actual course for free, and then we charge for coaching on the back end. I think that this is one of the easiest ways to break the market today. And I think that if you rely heavily on coaching in your business, then it's an absolute no-brainer to do this strategy. So what that is basically just putting together a free course and giving that away. But the overall principle behind it, if you don't want to do that, is you need to figure out a way to break the market. You need to figure out either a way to be new or better. So that could be either hiring better editors than other people, especially in various business sub-niches. This is very easy to do. Like let's say you're doing marketing for painters. A very easy way to outcompete the market is to simply just hire better editors. It's very, very easy because there's not a lot of competitors. Same thing with wholesale. If you're in real estate wholesale, all you need to do is just hire a better editor. Do something to absolutely break the market and set yourself apart. Or you hire a better thumbnail designer. Most people are spending $50 per thumbnail, if that. And if you can just pay $300 for a thumbnail for Mr. Beast thumbnail designer or, Arax thumbnail designer, which are people that we're connected to, then you're going to crush and your channel is going to do extremely, extremely well because you're essentially breaking the market and you're doing something that no one else is doing. And that is one of the biggest secrets to YouTube that I see nobody else talking about. That's one of the best ways to actually build a personal brand. And if you're a busy entrepreneur and you want us to just do all of this for you, then go ahead and just click the link in the description, book a call with my team, and we'll basically tell you exactly how to grow your brand, what content to make. We'll build your entire team, basically completely done for you. And if you want a more in-depth video about the exact funnel that we use to make this happen, then watch this video next where I show you what it is, how it works, and how you can use it to absolutely blow up your business on YouTube in 2025. Thanks and peace.